There is a proposed 14-point peace plan that Iran is supposedly looking at and seriously considering, supposedly, theoretically. Yet, this peace plan was supposedly the basis of Donald Trump declaring the Project Freedom, where we were given military escorts to ships going through the Hormuz Strait. To try to get the strait open. He ended that because of this peace plan proposal and negotiations going so great. But part of it was also that a couple of ships got hit, a couple of the cargo ships got hit going through the strait. They fired profusely at the American destroyers that went through fairly rapidly, but they didn't get hit, but they were able to fend off the fire, but they couldn't keep it off the some of the other ships that went through, although there were a few that made it through. But still, nobody's going to pay insurance for ships to go through the strait under those kind of conditions, and those ships don't sail without insurance. So there's different things that are being juggled here. And even after Trump declared, okay, that operation's over and we're all happy negotiating, looks like we got a peace plan cooking. One of the Iranian ships tried to run the blockade, and the United States shot its rudder out. We shot the rudder out of that ship so that it couldn't move. And Trump came back and said, hey, if you guys don't cut this stuff out, and if you don't make a deal that we like, if you can't make a deal we like, we're going to bomb you more intensely than we did the first time around, which that could be. The only deals that are really acceptable is getting rid of the nuclear material. That's the most important thing, to get the nuclear materials out of Iran. And that is more important than you might think. I think I'm going to do a special video just on that. A lot of people don't realize just where Iran really was going. I've talked about in the past, I mentioned it was in their constitution to export the revolution globally. And when you look at the religion, the death of America, and how hard they fought to maintain this uranium, you can see what I'm talking about. So I really don't expect they're going to negotiate this away. If they do, they're going to have a trick up their sleeves. I think more than anything else, they're trying to buy time to get themselves in a better position. That's all I think it really boils down to. So I'll go over this peace plan. Whoa, my Zoom is going nuts on me. Now what's happening here? Yeah. That ain't what I wanted to happen. I'm not liking this screen here. My mouse on this computer. Now, if you just scroll it, move the mouse, it clicks everything when you're trying to move over to go to something else. It's auto click. It's just like boom, 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 boom. Oh my gosh, nightmare. All right. Enough said for that. Oh yeah, I was going to go over and talk about these 14 points in the peace plan. So yikes, that's something else there. All right. So the 14 points in the peace plan are as follows. A formal end to hostilities is point one. An official declaration to end the war and current military engagements. Number two, a 30-day negotiating period, strictly timed window to hammer out the technical details on the nuclear and maritime issues. The maritime issues are the Strait of Hormuz and the blockade, of course. Number three is lifting the naval blockade. The U.S. would gradually lift a blockade on the Iranian ports. And like I said, gradually. And then the next one is point four, Strait of Hormuz reopening. Iran will lift all restrictions on international shipping through the strait. Okay. Point five, sanctions relief. The U.S. would initiate the removal of key economic sanctions. Point six, unfreezing assets. release of billions of dollars of frozen Iranian funds held in foreign accounts like the UAE and South Korea, which we've said they had to not release to Iran. So we've had a lot of influence to be able to tell other countries not to release money it belongs to a third country. But anyway, number 7, uranium enrichment moratorium. A freeze on Iranian uranium enrichment. Say that 5 times fast. Iranian uranium. A freeze on Iranian uranium enrichment for a period of 12 to 15 years. Why are we limiting it to 12 to 15 years, which is a compromise between the U.S. demand for 20 years and Iran's proposal for 5? I don't think it's ever good for them to enrich uranium beyond what it takes to run a power plant, or maybe an experimental reactor. Not 60%. That is unacceptable. HEU stockpile removal. That's highly enriched uranium. That's what HEU is. Stockpile removal. The potential transfer of Iran's enriched uranium, highly enriched uranium, HEU, stockpile to a third country or the U.S. Now, that one, if they do that, it's going to be like if they agree to, they would only agree to send it to Russia or China, some friendly country. They would probably send it back when they want it. So I highly doubt they're going to go there again. It's the potential removal. This is what the whole war should have been all about in the first place, was the uranium. To heck with the Strait. The uranium is the most important thing here. A lot of you don't get that. I'm going to probably cover that in another video. It's why that's really the case. So that really is more important than a lot of people imagine. So, number 9, nuclear weapon renunciation. A formal binding commitment by Iran to never pursue nuclear weapons. Now, how do you ensure that? Enhanced inspections. This is one way that you kind of get toward that. Implementation of SNAP inspectors and increased oversight by IAEA, that's International Atomic Energy Association, and UN inspectors. IAEA and UN inspectors. Number 11, underground facility restrictions, potential halt or severe limits on operations at underground sites like Fordo. What about Pickaxe? And how are you going to know that they don't have some secret underground site they're doing something at, that they're not going to make known to SNAP investors, SNAP inspectors, said investors. I got other stuff on my mind right now. Yeah. Number 12, non-aggression guarantees. Mutual guarantees against future military strikes between U.S., Israel, and Iran. Hey, won't none of us hit each other? But you know, there's always going to be conditions that make an exception to that. And I bet you Israel is not liking this for 2 cents. Iranian uranium tongue twisters. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that until tonight. So, security coordination, a new mechanism for joint management or security oversight of the Strait of Hormuz to prevent future blockages. Does that permit them to charge toll? And then there's the snapback provision, a fail-safe allowing the U.S. to immediately restore the blockade or resume military action if Iran violates the 30-day agreement. So all within just 30 days. So what happens past the 30-day agreement? What happens if Iran goes into violation when the next president's in the White House? He's probably just going to sit on his fingers and go, well, sanctions. Yeah, and they'll just be over there giggling and laughing. So Yeah, this is pretty serious what we're dealing with here. It's not a cakewalk by any standards. So if you're just joining us up, we just went through the 14 provisions that are being negotiated right now between the U.S. and Iran. These are the 14 points the U.S. gave to Iran, which allegedly Iran is considering. Like, seriously, supposedly. The Iranian regime is in a serious condition with the blockade on the from our side in the Gulf of Oman on the Strait of Hormuz. And it's hurting them and it's getting to them. But I don't expect they're going to cave on this uranium. I really don't. I think they're just trying to bide time. That's my take on it. Now, who knows? If I'm proven wrong, I'll be happy. I'll be happy. That is, if I'm genuinely proven wrong and they get the uranium out. I I think there's about as much chance of that as me catching a, a butterfly off the wings of a hummingbird on the horn of a unicorn. That's where I think that's at. I am not going to hold my breath. You can pray and hope, but realistically, what Iran has always done, they've been pretty actually good at negotiating in such a way that they kick the can down the road. And I'm sure that's what they're going to try to do again if they could all do that. If not, if they bought themselves any time, put themselves in a better position, I think they'd do it. And if they could get out and then cheat on it later under a different president, U.S. president, I fully expect them to do that. I think as long as this regime is in power, you got to remember a couple things. I think I need to do a special video on this and go into this in a little deeper dive. Might be a quick video, one of my day videos. It's in the Constitution of Iran to export their revolution globally. The Iranian leadership, especially in the IRGC, the Ayatollah side of the regime, are, they're not just Shia Muslims, they're Twelvers. That's a special sect within the Shia belief system. And the whole thing about 90% of the Muslims are Sunni Muslims, about 10% are Shia. The Shia are in primarily Iran, some of them are in Iraq. There's a few in Syria and down into Lebanon, where Hezbollah is Shia. Apparently, the Houthis are Shia. And they believe unlike, and some people try to compare it to Protestantism and Catholicism, can't even talk about it. No, it's deeper schism than the schism that started with Martin Luther on, when he posted his points on the wall or the door, where the Protestant Reformation began. It's bigger schism than that because it started upon the death of Muhammad. And it's got to do with who should have been the head of the religion from that point forward. I guess Muhammad, I had 12 sons, and the youngest one was a 12th. That's the one that the Shia believe should have been the father. They think he's still alive. Some say he's down in a well waiting to come out. Others think, well, that's metaphorical, but he's still walking among us. They believe he's still alive. He's going to come out of that, but they believe they got to have a catastrophe to bring him out of that well or to the forefront. And the well's in Qom, Iran. There's a mosque there where they believe that's at. And some of the believers throw notes down that well, hoping that he'll read them. They believe he's the son of Muhammad is still alive. So this is really strange stuff, but they believe that for him to come out, there's got to be a situation that's near extinction level event, especially for them. And that's why some of them apparently believe that they've got to bring on a nuclear war. There's a couple, there's some adherents to this that think that Allah will make these things happen. We don't have to do anything. But there's the activist division that believe that they actually need to push it to make it happen sooner, because they believe it's their belief that when the Mahdi, he's Muhammad Ali Mahdi, that when he comes out of the well, that he will actually be joined by Jesus Christ, and they're going to go to the Kaaba stone in Mecca, and they're going to establish a worldwide Shia Sharia law system, and they think to them it's going to be paradise on earth for Shia Muslims. And they believe Jesus is going to join them. They also believe that Jesus is going to slaughter Christians. And they believe they're going to fight against the Dajjal, how they said Dajjal. It's their version of the Antichrist. But a lot of their belief system, they have an apocalyptic belief system, kind of like Revelations, but it's kind of like a negative image of Revelations. So you got to really watch it. So what they really believe is they've got to bring about an apocalypse. This is primarily the IRGC is populated by these activists. I'm going to go into more detail on this in the future. I may do a video tomorrow or the next day on this. So here's the thing. We were destined probably to have a war with Iran sooner or later, no matter what. If we do not succeed in getting our nuclear material out, it's going to come again. We're going to have another war with it. It could be worse than this one. Had we waited till they did whatever they were building thousands of missiles and drones. They had huge factories. They would have been so far beyond where we could have dealt with them. It wouldn't have been funny. At least it had been beaten down some by the 12-day war. But honestly, they should have been dealt with earlier, because they already had so many drones and missiles that it strained our capability to deal with them. Even after the 12-day war, after they were bombed so much in 12-day war, they had so much of this stuff that it was almost beyond our capacity to deal with it. Had we waited a few years, no, they were building so much. And the other thing is, this has been an eye-opener for us, I hope, that we really weren't prepared for drone warfare. We were still more set up for anti-missile warfare. You would think with all our highly paid people in the Pentagon, they would have been paying attention. I've talked about the drones. The drones are a complete game changer. It was like 90% of the Russian soldiers that are dying in the front lines fighting Ukraine are being wiped out by drones. It's not the artillery. It's not all the conventional stuff that we've used in the past. No, it's drones. Drones are the cheap weapon systems. I mean, dirt cheap, buy them out of a store and weaponize them weapon systems are the worst thing you've ever seen in a military conflict. And forget F-15s, forget tanks. You know, Russians thought they had the advantage, they had all the tanks, and suddenly discovered what they had was targets. And the drones are a total game changer. I hope our military wakes up now, and maybe it's best we've learned this lesson in Iran rather than learn it fighting China. Because China will be a much bigger adversary, and a lot of people really believe that we're going to have a war with China. I don't think it's a given, but I think it's a very high probability. I think this war might have taken the wind out of the sail of that war, possibly, because this is a geopolitical war. It's not just a war about Iran, because China factors into it, and the energy available to China has been somewhat choked. But if we back off, and then China suddenly has full, complete access to Iranian oil again, and if we have no valve on that, then that's for naught. It's for naught. Maybe, it helped destabilize their economy to the point that China's economy is in some pretty serious shape right now. So, guided personal bombs. Yeah, drones are scary. They're such a game changer. When old Joe Biden, somebody talked about an AR-15, and Joe Biden says, well, you don't have a F-15. How are you going to counter the F-15? Asymmetric warfare is far more powerful. It always is when it can be exercised. Asymmetric warfare. So Biden was talking nonsense, absolutely talking nonsense. But that's what you get from a Democrat. So, and a lot of the people out there today still believe that nonsense. You can't defend yourselves from the government. Oh, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. If you have to. If you have to. Let's hope it don't come to that. But I really think there's a very good chance that we're going to go into civil war here. I should talk about that in another video. I got a lot of stuff I need to cover. I've been dealing with some computer problems. It's kind of threw me behind. So if you guys have some patience with me, I want to do more videos, but I've been juggling a lot of stuff here. I did have a job interview Friday. Went well. But anyway, so let's get back into this new stuff. So again, summarize. I'm going to go through, maybe rather than summarize, I should just go straight to the articles. I did cover the 12 points. That was the main thing for this, was to cover those points. So I got a lot of catch up to do. There's a number of topics I want to cover. There's a topic where the scientists is saying, hey, we've only got 35 years on average before we'd have a nuclear war. And I should go into that. There's also some talk, well, we've only got 24 years from another perspective. So guys, here's the thing. You need to be prepping. You need to prep and pray. How long we got on the Israeli calendar before we hit year 6,000? That's something else to think about. We're about to hit the big Sabbath. Is that going to be the millennium roll of Jesus? So how much time we got? What happens? How's it go down? Congrats on your job interview. Yeah. Pray for me that it goes through. Pray for me that everything goes through on that. Anyway, so we're going straight to the articles. Rather than recapitulate and go through stuff. This will be quicker. It's late. So let's make this happen. Whoa. Went full screen. I'm trying to go to another screen, and this screen blows up as I'm trying to scroll to it, because like I say, this thing, the mouse thinks every move is a click. No, I didn't. You're supposed to click it in the lower right-hand corner. But when you try to click it, sometimes they don't want to do that. So really, you auto-click everywhere, except when I want you to click, and you don't click. Now, where am I? My minimum screen there, right? Escape button. Yeah, okay. Zoom operates a little different on this computer than it did before. It's like they upgraded the operating system or later version of Windows, and it's all different. And so I'm somewhat lost. And it operates on this computer different than it does my other computers. They're all different. Everything's different, every computer. So anyway, let's see if I can get over there without it blowing up on me. I'm going to hit the share button if it'll let me. And we're going to go here. Bing, 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 bing. Okay, guys. As you know, I always tell you about these product contamination deals that we're dealing with. I've done a few videos on this, and I do plan to one of the things I need to catch up with is bringing you some more product information. There is a Lutz potato chips. There's a contamination recall on those. There's also, I'll do a video, I'll mention this in another video. And discovering that all fake meat, all that fake plant-based meat has got some serious problems. I'll cover that in a future video. I'll mix it in with my other product safety videos. Anyway, so what it is, we got over 550 different brands that got bought out by just 12 big corporation. Now, some of them were spun off from these 12, like Mars Candy has a few subsidiary candy bars, but by and large, they bought out a lot of different product lines. Some of them were good products before. I can see Ivory Soap here. You don't trust Ivory Soap. Everybody used to trust Dawn. But I'm going to tell you, I've already covered Dawn in particular, how there's chemicals that aren't even on the label. So everything is not labeled, my friends. And a lot of these chemicals are such that it might be lotion or makeup or something. You put it on your skin, and the chemicals soak through your skin and right in your bloodstream. And I'm more worried about those kind of products than I am food. And we know our food's got a lot of mess in it, but it's those consumer products that scare me the most because they're not regulated as well, especially makeup. Yikes. Makeup is nuts. Well, we got 33 likes. We got 60 in the room. All right, folks, help me out. Thumb me some thumbs up. I'll make to refresh to see where we're at over here. I don't know. Some people, they monitor the thumbs up. I don't know. That gives it to them live. I'm not seeing it. Some people do. I have to hit the refresh to see how many thumbs up I got. Ding, ding. Anyway, so all these products are, yeah, it's 33. Oh, I see what you're saying. 33 like the Mason. Somebody give me a 34th one. Get off at 33 real fast. So that's the number you got to go through to get higher numbers, but I don't want to say stay in there. Come on, guys, help me out. So you get all this contaminant, all these contaminants in here, and what you got to know is they put it in there to make the products cheaper, to make them last on the store shelf longer. And every time you buy one of these products, you're voting for these companies, basically. It's an economic vote. That's what Milton Friedman taught us. He wrote in his book, Free to Choose, which I read in about 1980 to 81 time frame. Now, I'll tell you, I was reading serious stuff when I was young. Free to Choose by Milton Friedman. But anyway, he taught us that every time you buy a product, you're voting for that product and whoever provides it, and you're putting money in their pocket. Well, guess who else you're voting for? These big mega corporations. And who do they support? Just look at the World Economic Forum Partners website. So if you like the idea that these guys promoting the organization that tells you that you will have no privacy, you will own nothing, but you'll be happy as you live in your 15-minute cities, riding your tricycle and eating the bugs while the elites jet around in their private jets and dine on caviar and steak. If that's the future you want, just keep buying this junk because that's supporting them. And here's the other part to know about that is that these 12 corporations are principally controlled, have controlling interest in them from the 3 asset management companies. How come? Every time I open this page, I had it open earlier and it would look good. You come back to it and it ain't working and it wants to reload. Oh, well. So the 3 asset management companies are principally dominated by BlackRock. And BlackRock is run by who? Larry Fink. And what else Larry Fink run? The World Economic Forum. What is going on this page? Let's move on. I ain't gonna wait on it. So I come up with a way to get away from all that. So you're not supporting the House of Klaus, and you're getting good, clean products. So you can get to kill 2 stones with 1 bird. I'm always backwards. 2 stones with 1 bird. So, we got 35 now. Good. All righty. So I come up with switchwithgreg.com. Switchwithgreg.com. You come here and you'll discover we've got a family-owned company, not part of the big corporate conglomerate, family-owned company that makes all their products right here in America. So you can support American jobs, a family-owned company, not support the wealth, and you are getting good, clean products without all the chemicals. The products are non-toxic, and they extensively test them for your safety. Okay, that's probably killing 3 birds with 1 stone, or 3 stones with 1 bird. Anyway, so all you got to do is come up here to get into this. fill out the form up here on switchgreg.com, submit it. This is my website. It don't go to some big corporation. It just comes to me, and I share it with my friend Lisa, who will contact you and bring you aboard. All right. So let's move on into Z news. Make sure you don't eat Z bugs. So U.S. fires on this Iranian flag tanker, and the president is threatened bombing. That's the latest news. And disabled its rudder. I got a better article on that, I think, right here. Ding, 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 ding. Here we are. U.S. Navy shot out the rudder with a Super Hornets 20-millimeter cannon. There you go. Some articles don't tell you the details, and some do. So there we go. A U.S. Navy fighter jet knocked out the rudder of the Iranian-flagged oil tanker in the Gulf of Oman Wednesday using a 20-millimeter cannon. So how come they don't give us the name of the tanker? Let's see. So the unladen tanker, okay, it's the MT Hasna. MT Hasna. So there it was. They got it. They disabled it. You ain't going nowhere in the sea without a rudder. Now here's something. I don't know if you heard about this. We've got a missing KC-135 tanker plane. The planes that refuel all the other fighters. I believe it's a KC. Yep, KC-135 Strato tanker. Apparently their distress signal was 7700. They sent it out and it disappeared. Did it get shot down? Have they found any debris? I've not heard anything about debris. Maybe it landed, but I hadn't heard of that either. Last I heard, it was missing. It could have had a mechanical failure. You're flying a lot of aircraft around, you will encounter some mechanical issues on some of them. That is just part of it. But, you know, it could have been shot down too. Stratotanker is a big target. Oh, Lord. Now, why is that going to pop up? Let's get off that page. So, but Donald Trump paused the military operation to free stranded ships off out of Iran. So what the whole operation was, he was trying to get a lot of ships are stranded in the Persian Gulf. They can't get out. They're running low on food. So he said that Project Freedom originally was a humanitarian mission to try to get these guys out of that Gulf. They're trying to get ships out of the Gulf and trying to get the ones in the Gulf of Oman in. So it's really a two-way thing. But anyway, so Project Freedom was being put on hold now, supposedly because of the great peace talks and all our military successes we've had. I've heard two different stories on that. But, you know, but then, you know, he's based on that shooting the rudder of that ship. He said, hey, if they don't make a deal, we're going to bomb them like we've never bombed them before. And we get more assets out there now, so we technically could do that. Although the Ford, USS Ford, has already went through the Strait of Gibraltar. That ship is moving. For a big ship like that, it's actually moving really fast. Those boys want to go home. I'm surprised they're making that kind of time. I'll be honest. It takes a while to get a ship through a good bit of ocean. And it's not just traveling by itself. It's not just that one. It's got a carrier strike force. They're also booking it. And I guess everybody in that carrier strike force wants to go home. You know, it's rough on families when you're away for nearly a year. Even 6 months can be too much in some situations. So that's one reason I didn't go in the Navy. Trump says war will be over quickly as Iran reviews the U.S. peace proposal. We just went over that a few minutes ago. I talked about the 14 points. Most of the articles like this, though, they mention it, but they don't show the points. There's a 14-point MOI. Okay, good. Where is it? Yeah, you can scroll all the way through this, and it's not there. You see what I'm saying? All right. The memorandum of understanding, 14 points. Okay, you going to open up this next one for me? I'm clicking on it. That's what I'm saying. This clicker auto clicks when you're scrolling across a page. Then when you actually try to click something, nothing happens. Crazy thing. All right, I'm gonna stop the share because sometimes that makes all the difference in the world. I will come back. Ding, 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 ding. Where was we at? I think that's it. Yeah, it closed whatever I was looking at. It actually closed the article I was trying to open. That's what it usually does. All righty. But, in the hopes of this Iranian peace deal, stocks have went up and the price of oil went down. They say oil went to under $100 a gallon for Brent. Gas station over here hadn't got the word yet. Gas station next door, it was higher today than I've seen it at any time. So I need to know if I can I borrow an a-hole somewhere? Because it sure cost me one buying gas today. Woo! It cost me mine filling up that gas tank. That was rough. Anyway, stocks have climbed. Brent crude went down. So we can hope, it takes a while for that to translate into, all the way down the chain to your gas station. But who knows? Maybe the prices of gas will go down again. But the main thing, we don't need to let Iran get away with it. Iranian uranium. Say that 12 times fast. 10 times fast. Oh, you got a finger for each time you say it. Jesse Mills. Yeah, I don't know what happened to Sam Turner. I hadn't seen him in a while. Jesse Mills, Nelton Butterfield. I see him some on Facebook. Maybe I'm too late for him. But Samuel Turner, I don't know what happened to him. He was one of my top supporters. Judy, we're just too late for Judy. I know that. But I'll come back and look at the chat room when I get to the news. Sorry, I shouldn't be distracted. We got our morning coffee club members. They were getting ready for work. They want the news straight up. My coffee's already getting cold. So Naples, 2 Navy destroyers repelled a barrage of Iranian air and surface attacks this week to safely cross the Strait of Hormuz into the Persian Gulf. And I mentioned these to you my night before last. It was USS Truxton and USS Mason. I named those ships to you night before last. They didn't make it through, but apparently they were taking on a lot of flak. They were under heavy assault from both missiles and drones. Iran thought, yeah, let's sink a U.S. destroyer. Well, they didn't get to. But it was a heavy barrage. Our bases in the area took a real beating, by the way. And why is that? Because we were set up for missile defense against, we always, ballistic missiles, thinking that our adversaries would always just have a few. But Iran has been cranking them out like everything. Plus, you add to that the drones, and we just don't have enough missiles to defend against all that. Be honest. I've had people tell me in the past, well, our Navy don't have to worry. They got these missiles, SM-2s, SM-3s, SM-6s. They can go in and take care of China. They ain't got nothing to worry about. I said, really? We just got so many of those missiles on each ship, and if China was to saturate us with enough fire, the saturation would overcome our ability to defend ourselves. Oh, these people didn't want to believe that. All right, buddy, start believing. I was talking this way 2 years ago. People were challenging, I don't know. You know what you're talking about. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Anyway, we can see it now. We can see it. And it's most unfortunate. We're lucky we only lost 13 people. We're really fortunate in that. We did get, maybe 400 injured. But considering the barrage, the hits we've taken, we've been lucky. And the Iranians have been exceedingly lucky. We've struck so many times over there. Over 15,000 from U.S., and probably as many from Israel. And there's only, what's that, 30,000 strikes almost, and only 3,000 Iranians lost their lives. Actually, if we go after them again, if you got to take out the RGC with the hopes that the protesters can take over, you got to take out a lot more than that. Iranian uranium times 10. Yeah, put up 10 fingers and put one down every time you say it, and say it fast. See if you can get it through. Iranian uranium. I already messed up. I can't even get to say what Iranian uranium. Blah, 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 blah. Wow, I can't do it 2 times. I'd slow down a little bit. Maybe if I slow down, I can get it. All right. Oh, whoa, whoa, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. It's moving everything around. I'm trying to do something else. Now, where was I? Jeez. This thing's driving me nuts. And don't wait till you get where you're going. Now, see, if you try to click something, it don't work. But when you, well, I'm preaching enough that Iran's new oil weapon. This article is alluding to the idea we need to make ourselves less reliant on oil. Now, we are actually an oil exporter, but they're trying to drive home we should be even less reliant on it here, so that we can we've been pulling down our reserves and selling a lot of oil, exporting a lot of oil, and we continue. But we got to get our reserves back up at some point. Of course, in here they're talking about going to green energy stuff. That don't always help with the oil situation. Not unless we put in more nuclear power plants. We need more power plants to make electricity. You can't just, with all the AI stuff coming along, and take the new Green Deal and force electrification of all the automobiles. That's what they were trying to do, and that's what AOC would like to do if her party comes back in power. Anyway, I'm glad Fun Time's having a fun time. All right. I'm responding to the chat, people. All right. What Israel wants, no enrichment, missile limits, and strict enforcement. Okay. I think that's what we're trying to negotiate. Is it what we're going to get? I hope so. I hope we really get it, but that's a whole nother thing. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan King, held a press briefing a couple of days ago. And they said, to be clear, the Operation Freedom is separate and distinct from Operation Epic Fury. So they're talking about the blockade Dylan stuff, or like I said, they claim the war ended on the 7th of April. And part of that is so that if they try to start shooting again, they claim that, basically we got a new clock ticking, another 60 days. I thought maybe they would just try to say it was the rest of the 3 weeks. But they're saying they're distinct. I don't know. CENTCOM always with partner nations is in active communications with hundreds of ships and shipping insurance companies. And yeah, a lot of blah here. I'm not going to read all this today. I was thinking about it earlier, but changed my mind. So there was a French cargo ship that got hit. And it was I guess the company is CMA, CGM, whatever it stands for. The French company, CMA, CGM. The ship, the San Antonio. So I think it had some people injured. We don't know how many were injured. That number's not been released. But that ship was apparently hit. There is a CMA, CGM ship, probably not the one that got hit. It's just a carrier. But is that why Emmanuel Macron, president of France, has decided to send an aircraft carrier to the Strait of Hormuz? But notice, for possible defense. So they're sending the Charles de Gaulle aircraft carrier and its escorts for possible defense. That sounds like a Frenchman. So let's see. There's some conditions in there here too. Let's see. Deployment, defensive efforts. Yeah, basically it's got to be calm. Yeah. It may help restore confidence among ship owners and insurers. And he's saying that their operation would remain distinct from the parties of the war. They got nothing to do with the war. They're just going to be there. But for them to go there, they got to have return to calm in the seas in the strait. And, who knows that? Yeah, I don't think they're going to go in unless everything else is already calmed down. So don't be counting on the French to do anything interesting. So CISA tells organizations to prepare for cyber outages. They're expecting some big cyber attacks right now. The Cyber Security and Infrastructure Security Agency, that's CISA, Cyber Security and Infrastructure Security Agency. So fresh out of the longest government shutdown in history. They didn't put them behind their analysis. I don't know. Guys. I'm getting yawny here. But like I said, the USS Gerald Ford already passed through the Strait of Gibraltar. Not before last night I showed it to you, it was just, right below Greece. Yeah, that thing is bucking. It is bucking. Oceans are big and ships don't move anywhere near as fast as an aircraft. So you might fly across the ocean in some X number of hours, 8 hours or something, transatlantic 8 or 10. Takes a ship a lot longer to get across. The Boxer hadn't got the Mideast yet. It may not even be destined for the Mideast. Okay, one of our elite globalists who really wanted to bring down the population of the world has reduced one member of the world's population himself. He's passed away, Ted Turner, the founder of the Common News Network, and headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia. There he is with Hanoi Jane. Anybody marry Hanoi Jane, you'd have to really worry about them. But for those that don't know, he held a special little conference where they were talking about population control. And he's been quoted as saying that he thinks the whole population of the world should be less than 200 million, which is a lot less than what the Georgia Guidestones call for. That's a tiny number. And he had a meeting with some other big wigs to talk out the plans for this. And one of them was Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey. So you think Hanoi Jane had something to do with it? I wouldn't be surprised. Now this one so we're getting out of the war news, as you might have guessed by now. There's a new reactor called the Trigger, like a trigger, but Trigger. Is it Trigger? Probably Trigger. The reactor is produced electricity for the first time. Now there is the reactor. It's a tiny reactor by comparison. It's at the University of Utah. I think I need to go up there and see if I can get one of these or a few of them. So this thing was only producing 2 to 3 kilowatts of electricity. At 3 kilowatts, that's only a third of what my solar panels can do. So that's a tiny reactor, 2 to 3 kilowatts. That's small. So you mean you got a reactor that if I had about 3 or 4 of them, it could run my home? Which they're probably talking about scaling it up. It's a tiny reactor. It's called a micro reactor. It's a nuclear reactor. I want one. Well, Utah, tell them I want one. Give me one of these. University of Utah. But they probably won't let you have it because it's got nuclear materials. Something might happen. I want something to power my house. If we're in a nuclear winter or a volcanic winter and the sun's not shining. So let's move on here. We're going to earthquake news. Well, we got a fresh one right here. 4.7 and Madrid, I say that, Mexico. Our Puerto Rican friends are dancing hard as usual. Got one up here in Attu Station, Alaska. Attu and Adak have both been acted up. I think Attu was the last one in the area. And we got one over here in the Philippines of 5.5. Japan got a couple, 4.4 there, and a 4.7 there. I don't ask me how to pronounce. New Zealand was one right on New Zealand. Hicks Bay, 4.3. One above New Zealand, 5.6 in the Kermadec Islands. They get a lot of earthquakes there. Got two of them right here. And Papua New Guinea. So if we zoom in here on the United States, looks like we got, looks like two of them right there. Silver Springs, Nevada. Yeah, they're at their daily earthquakes. But looks like there's another one right, another circle right behind it. So I'd say they got two. There's a couple of earthquakes on or near the San Andreas Fault. Coast to Anderson Springs, California. And then Redlands, California. And Malaga, New Mexico, they're at 3.0. Okay, enough of the earthquakes. Now we'll see if the sun shakes. We apparently have just exited the G2 storm. There's talks of the possibility of the G1. Nothing looks too scary on the face of the sun. That's the good news. If we come there to asteroid reports, there's nothing that we're aware of that's going to pass between Earth and the Moon through the 4th of July. 4th of July. All right. So that's enough space news. Go through. Hearing things. Let me go through the chat room. So, folks, I'm going to put it up on this computer. So I talk on my shoulders. And swig some more coffee. I'm getting desperately sleepy. That cup's gone. Need another one. All righty. I only got 66 in the chat room. Normally we'd run 80 or 90 by this time at night. My views are dropping. The people that look at it in the morning, those views are dropping too. I'm down somewhere between a half. I've lost somewhere. I lost a third of my views back a couple weeks ago, but it's dropping more. It's dropping like constantly. It's getting to the point I'm getting more views on Galactic Griggs. Jack Davison just asked him. How you doing, Gizmo? Good name. I like Junkyard Cybertruck. That's a funny one. A Junkyard Cybertruck. Fun time. Got a person, Mom. Sergeant Major Phil. All right, we got a Sergeant Major in the house. Wormy, good to see you. Yeah. Buy a better one. My abilities to buy stuff are constrained right now. Yeah, we don't have new days. That's true, Arnold. A lot of regulars we don't have in here. We got to skin. They're probably not getting notifications. How many times people have told me they don't get notifications? A lot. Certain amount of people who believe we are still. Well, there is a certain amount of people who believe we are still in normal life structure where the economy has its ups and downs. This is called normalcy bias. Folks do not realize that a reset's coming. Oh yeah. Let's see, who's this? Food pilot, pilot, pilot. Latvia issues drone alerts along with the Russian border on Thursday. Ooh, schools will be closed and 2 drones from Russia crashed in Latvia. Ooh, are you over there? Where are you located? Michael Fike. A lot of people views have dropped to nothing. Well, YouTube is shut down if they're not careful. If YouTube don't watch it, they're going to lose so many creators. All they're going to have is the AI creators, the AI junk, and then nobody's going to watch YouTube then. But they're killing the creators, but especially the conservative ones, and even more so if you rat on China, they really clamp down on you hard, real hard. And I've warned you guys that China's our biggest existential threat. So, oh, you're from Estonia, okay? I've known some Estonians, definitely. If you go to that video with Amy Eskridge on my Galactic Greg's channel, and you hear a guy there with a foreign accent, Ilmar Luik was his name. He's Estonian. Ilmar Luik. I don't know if he's still alive. He was older than time 7 years ago when I did that video. Actually, that's been probably almost 8 years ago. That man, although the last time I called him was about a year or two ago, he was still alive. It surprised me. He is up there in years. He is really up there. He's Estonian and he hates Russia with a passion. So, hey, how you doing there, Andrea? Wow, thanks for sharing this. Reed LV, my grandma was born in Rosinki. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but good to see you here. Hope your situation's improved. We prayed for you in my last session. Uh, anyway, so we're about to call it a night. We're about to turn in here. I don't know, things have been changing so fast. When you wake up, the whole economic situation, yeah, everything's changing fast. Alive. Well, I'm glad to know you're alive. Let's hope you're doing better than you were last time. Felt the prayers. All right, very good. You need more prayers. Yeah, I worked for a, let's see, where's he from? Is he actually the guy who, I had a guy who invested in my Hark Rocket Company, a private venture capitalist. And he was Estonian also. Uh, so yeah, so that was from Estonia. He was an Estonian. And then I had a NASA lead I worked for. I actually, when he retired, recruited in the company I was working for at the time. Well, I'm thinking he was from Latvia. I think he was from Latvia. He was not Estonian, but he was from the Baltic countries there. Okay. I haven't seen any further prayer requests tonight. Guys, oh yeah, we gotta do the egg count before we go. Wait a minute, don't start. Let me get the carton. Let me get the carton. That's it right here, just so we can do the egg count. Oh, hang on, wait a minute. Oh, Kim Possible's in the house. She must be working tonight. Salute to Kim Possible. She just gave a $20 donation through my website, greengregs.com. I got it. If you go to greengregs.com, there's the donation button there. She just gave a donation. So salute to Kim Possible. Thank you for the generous donation. She's my most generous supporter right now. She's keeping the doors open, of course. So everybody, thank Kim Possible for making it possible. Yeah, there used to be a cartoon with a Kim Possible. I suppose she's seen that cartoon. Wormy. Need to get some bigger channel to interview you about your knowledge of Huntsville. Yeah, I'm surprised nobody's contacted me, to be honest. Really surprised. Especially since I knew Amy and everybody's showing snips of my video and not even crediting me by name. So that's kind of something. Yeah. Everybody said a big thank you to Kim Possible. Oh yeah. Latvia, Estonia. All right. So let me there we go. All right, go. Guess how many eggs I got? How many eggs I get today? And she's probably working. That's why she's not chimed in with the chat. Sometimes she was working and can't chat on the chat room, but she's in the house. So we appreciate that. All right, guys, how many eggs are harvested today? Keep going. Somebody gave a percent sign. Keep going. There she is. Everything is possible with God. That's right. Oh, there it is. See, Shelly guessed it. See, Shelly got it. I got 6 eggs today. 6. All right, let's let the guessing stop. Since I'm sure the numbers aren't rolling, because there's a lag. We'll guess Easter eggs here in a minute. Yeah, we're still getting guesses on the first guess. All right, hang on. I'll say when to go. I wait till I don't see anything else roll across the chat room for a little bit. We're still getting people guessing egg numbers. All right, hang on. You gotta wait a minute. I don't see any more numbers coming up. I'll go for the Easter egg thing. We got 6 total. All right. See, Shelly put the trophy out, so I know she knows. And she got it this time. Pray for Judy, Lee Diamond, Lee DJT, and everyone else you know personally, okay? How many Easter eggs we get? Go. Kiss. How many Easter eggs? How many Easter eggs? Do 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 do. How many Easter eggs? Nope, not 2. That's the usual. Whoa, there we go. Kim Possible got it. Kim Possible. It's 1. We got one Easter egg. Kim Possible guessed it first. Wormy, you're a little late. Kim Possible beat you. It's one. Now, we didn't do a video last night. I only had 4 eggs yesterday, and 3 of them were Easter eggs. Imagine that. I only had 4 eggs yesterday. All right, here they are. Here's what we got. If I can get this thing open. There they are. That's the Easter egg. Some of them are dark brown, as you can see. All righty. See, Shelley and Kim Possible. Y'all got it. Y'all are the winners tonight. All right. Let's there you go. See, Shelley always throws out the trophy cup, but she got the first trophy cup. 0, says Michael. That's always a possibility. It's always a possibility. All right, folks. Let's go with you like turkey egg, okay? Let's do a quick prayer. Let's do follow the advice of okay, back to work. Have an awesome day. You too. And salute to you for the super chat, the donation. Thank you very much. Thank you for the generous donation. All right, $20. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a quick prayer. Scroll back up to Arnold said pray for him. We're going to pray for Andrea, who's Andy Sings. We'll give her another prayer tonight for our troops. All right. If you don't pray, a moment of silence is golden. I'm not going to lead you in prayer because it's not a religious channel. Pray according to your own faith. Amen. All righty, folks. It is almost 2 in the morning. It'll take me an hour to get in bed. Always such one turkey egg is like 3 eggs. Oh, yeah. Big eggs. All righty, folks. We have covered the waterfront tonight. We've done the news, showed the articles. I got a few of those special topics I'm going to cover. I'll try to make some day videos. Just do something quick and dirty, post it before it gets too late in the daytime. I pray the Lord's Prayer. All right. My back hurts. I hope your back's not hurting right now. Andrew, we wish you the best. You're going through a lot. All righty. Thank you. Fun time. At least I got you laughing tonight. That helps. What other prepper news makes people laugh? Not too many. Man, it's all scary. We're about to get blown up here in England. We're starting in 5 minutes. It will definitely happen today or tomorrow. No, I don't do that. But we do know it's a possibility, and we know to be prepared. But I always have that modicum. Don't be scared. Be prepared. Anyway, thank you all for being here. Thank you, mods, for keeping the channel clean. And to one and all, a good night, good day wherever you are. And in honor of the late, great, fun times laughing, and that's great. All right. And to one and all, a good night, good day wherever you are. Ho, ho, ho.